Namaste, angels. Thank you for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I do appreciate it. If you are not yet a subscriber and you want to be and you want to actually receive the notifications, please do ensure that you click on both the subscribe button and the bell button so you at least have a chance of receiving the notifications, because I actually have a problem on this channel where a lot of my subscribers don't receive the notification. It results in not only people saying, hey, I didn't get to see that, or, how come I didn't know about this video? It also results in like major disparities in the numbers of views that I get on my videos. So like, for example, I'll have 10,000 on one and 100 on another of a similar topic. Even with the astrological readings that I do, so like one sign will have like 10,000 views and another sign will have like 100. So it's pretty crazy. I don't know how to solve it. Apparently YouTube does not know how to solve it. Sometimes they contact me, sometimes I contact them, and neither of the cases is it resolved. So please do just click on both of those if you'd like to get the notifications. And thank you if you are newly subscribed. I did notice that I got a few new subscribers, and I do appreciate it. If I'm at all an astrologer, it is by nature, not by trade. I've never studied astrology. Similarly, I don't consider myself a tarot reader. I've never studied tarot. This is something else that also came 100% natural to me in recalling past lives, honestly. And those of you who've been watching me since I started know that. I mean, you saw the progression. You saw me get on one day out of nowhere and do it. And you've heard the stories and you see the progression. So yeah, it's completely natural, but I do have feelings about this moon, and it comes from the readings that I've done this week, in part also from the fact that Scorpio is a water sign for one thing, and a fixed sign for another, and ruled by Mars and Pluto. So those factors alone sort of give me an idea as to what this new moon is going to be about and for how long we're going to be feeling the effects. Although my readings tend to go for 2 weeks, like from one major moon phase to the next. So this one will go through the full moon in Taurus. And that full moon in Taurus occurs on November 12th at 8:34 a.m., 19 degrees 52. Very interesting placement. But let's focus on what else is going on in between today at 11:38 p.m. or 11:11, when the new moon in Scorpio occurs at 4 degrees, also 11:11. What other events will occur in between that we'll have to move through? And that's, we're going to begin with October 31st at 11:54 a.m., Mercury retrograde. Mercury completely full-on retrograde since the 11th. It has been approaching retrograde in shadow. So some of us may have already experienced some Mercury retrograde-ish stuff happening, but it will be official as of Halloween at 11:41 a.m., 27 degrees 38. So Mercury retrograde, not only retrograde, but in retrograde in Scorpio. I don't think I said that. So we have that other Scorpio activity happening. November 1st at 4:25 p.m., Venus, who's currently located in Scorpio, Venus, the ruler of the signs of Libra, Taurus, and Gemini, leaves Scorpio and moves into Sagittarius. On November 8th at 9:46 p.m., Saturn, ruler of the sign of Capricorn, will be sextile Neptune, which is currently remains retrograde in Pisces, where it has been for some time. Pisces, which it rules, actually. November 12th, again, 8:34 a.m., full moon in Taurus. So that's all of the activity, and some of it's pretty strong. So we're going to consider all of these things. Again, so my feelings based on all of that, taking all that into consideration about this Scorpio new moon, is that it's going to give us second chances. Right? Chances to start again, begin again, where we've fallen down, we want to get up, or more Scorpio-like, to say it in a more Scorpio-like way, we went underground and now we want to rise again. So we're going to get those chances. I'm picking that up of the number of times that Major Arcana card Judgment, which represents the planet Pluto and the sign of Scorpio for me in the tarot, came up in my readings this weekend. So that's one thing. Also, because Scorpio is ruled by both Mars, which is the planet of action, aggression, and definitely a major representative of the element of fire, I think we can also view it as sort of like a rising phoenix, right? The rising from the ashes and from the fire in a very, passionate and determined manner, I also think this moon will sort of uncover or unveil truths or falsehoods. Yeah, uncover the falsehoods and reveal truths. That sounds more right grammatically. But why do I think that? Again, Mercury, the planet of communication, the ruler, along with Venus, of the sign of Gemini, the great communicator, is retrograde in Scorpio. So I think that is going to be pushing it also and working with this moon to unveil truths. And I further think that because the Ace of Swords came up in my reading this weekend too, about 2 or 3 times. And that is about, cutting through bullshit, getting to the truth of the matter, also about victory and new beginnings. So sort of like that rising from the ashes, like where there had been difficulty, where you had been struggling, you're rising from the ashes. We're also going to be moved to free ourselves from and let go of anything that has had us restricted, made us feel trapped, is holding us back in any way. We're going to let it go, whether that is, habits. I definitely saw that kind of energy come up too in the readings, codependency, so toxicity. It can be like a very 10 of Swords kind of energy. You're on some sort of substance, or, you overeat, like a sex addict, or eating disorder. Maybe you undereat, or you're on some kind of weird diet. There's a lot of, lifestyles right now surrounding food that are not necessarily healthy, no matter how healthy they claim to be. A lot of them very much cult-like. So like realizing those sort of things and breaking out of that type of stuff. But yes, definitely wanting to be healthy, because Scorpio rules that energy, like of the physical body. So you're going to want to exercise and do things that are genuinely conducive to good health, as opposed to like all this bogus shit, that because it has a cool name, it sounds good, that we follow it. Scorpio is definitely not about following. A lot of times this is the loner that you're talking about. So we may come up with unique ways to do the right thing, and our own thing, by a beat of a different drummer, as they say, toward whatever is conducive to good health in all sense of the word. So spiritual health, emotional health, physical health. This is Scorpio's realm. So I think we're going to be getting rid of, like I said, toxic relationships, toxic habits, thought patterns, ideologies. So definitely like cult-like mentalities, religious beliefs, any kind of restrictive belief system, releasing those things, or freeing ourselves from them. Part of that also because Uranus, the ruler of the sign of Aquarius, is also currently retrograde. And so that is going to have effect too. I think Uranus opposes this new moon too, if I remember correctly. That part is not from my head. That part I think I heard or read somewhere or something. What else was I thinking? Cutting off everything. Oh, Mercury. Yeah, Mercury has a big part in that too. The Queen of Swords, so like an air sign, maybe a Gemini or an Aquarius, again ruled by Uranus, because that energy is definitely involved too. The Queen of Swords is known in the tarot also as like the feng shui queen. Like she clears out stuff that causes her imbalance and, poor health, that's holding her back, that's restricting her, that's bullshit, that's lies, that's a veil, that's a falsity, all that kind of stuff. She's the queen of cut off. An air sign's cut off game, especially a Gemini, So again, ruled by Mercury or an Aquarius, this sign of freedom is strong, as they say. So that's going to be coming up too, just cutting all kinds of things out. And then maybe like we've tried some of this stuff before. We tried to do these things before. Again, a second chance. So something coming back around a second time around, which again is associated for me with the energy of judgment. Although judgment is also about abundance that is earned. So blessings coming in too for all of those deserving. We also have to work on deservingness. That may be part of your health. Like I said, health, good health in all areas. I don't want to leave out the most obvious, of course, the energy of, death, transition, transformation, going in, an attractive caterpillar, but coming out maybe even a more beautiful butterfly. So complete transformation and new starts in those areas. So anything that we start will grow, will continue to transform and evolve over the next few months. That's my feeling for the moon. So I was also moved to use particular decks of cards. The first three were easy. I always, well, not always, but for like the past 6 months, it feels like I've been moved to use my butterfly oracle for these moon readings. So I tend not to pull them out any other time. I've just been using them for the moon readings. But not to skip ahead to that, I was moved literally right before I turned on the camera to pull out my life purpose deck, and I forgot I failed to mention that when I was talking about what I feel the Scorpio moon is. The reason I was moved to pull this out is because I feel that the Scorpio moon is also, and the energy of Scorpio in general, because again, right now we have 2 planets there. We have Venus and Mercury, in addition to the sun, which is also considered a planet for argument's sake. The sun rules the sign of Leo, so we consider it a planetary body. That's also in Scorpio. Now the moon is going to be there, so a fourth planetary body, all there at the same time, and these very, very strong ones. So, what does that mean? To me, it's like super duper heavy, obviously Scorpio energy. And Scorpio energy moves us to question, like, who am I? Like, what am I? Where am I? And what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what is my purpose? Because it has to be bigger than this. It has to be deeper than this. This doesn't feel like serious enough. This is very superficial. I need to go further. I need to go all the way down to the depths, to the dark, to the void. And so I think that a lot of us are going to be questioning, like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? And so, like I said, right before I put on the camera, I was moved to pull on my life purpose cards. We're going to have an overall energy of builder. Your innate ability to build and create brings you a deep sense of accomplishment. I meant to think about what day this was. So it is, I know it's a 19, October 27, so that's a 1. And then, it's another 1111. The year is a 3. 2019 equals 3. So 1 plus 3 equals another 4, or 13, or 22, or 1111. So I was trying to figure out if in supreme math it would equal build, destroy, which is about like if you're not building, if you're not contributing, then you're destroying. But no, it does not. That's 8. The number 8 in supreme math represents build, destroy. So this is another 1111. That's interesting to have noticed. Other interesting things about this day, October 27th, not only is it a 19, but it is the 300th day of the year, exactly 300. And that means there are exactly 65 or 11 days remaining. All right, so this is build. And the next one is upside down. So I won't mention it. But as you saw, it was let go. From my Keepers of the Light Oracle, move to use these 2. Saint Germain, karma releasing. This has definitely been coming up over the past 2 weeks in my readings. In fact, I even entitled my reading last week like karma completion or something. And Saint Germain came up. And Saint Germain and his divine feminine, Lady Portia, came up in one of the astrological readings I did. I don't remember for what sign. but they both came up together, and so I explained who they were. He is an ascended master, and one of the keepers of the violet ray, or the violet flame, the seventh ray. He is known as a master alchemist, and all about justice and freedom, as is his divine feminine. So again, releasing, breaking free from things that are holding us back, so karmic situations that are restraining us. I think that's why Saint Germain is here. Also, the color purple may be significant for somebody, some of us maybe. The depths sometimes are, as you go deeper, the colors start to purple, blue, the water or the sky, either direction, the purple shows up. I'm also reminded of Prince's song, Purple Rain. I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain. Maybe the sorrow and the pain came through a karmic lesson that is being resolved or will be resolved now. We'll have an opportunity to start something over. From the Butterfly Oracle, self-care is with what we're starting. And the Romance Angels, soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. And all the cards are just one, and the rest are upside down behind all these decks. So, on that note, let's get to our first spread, for which I'll use the butterfly deck. So again, self-care, singles, couples, whatever. This is for everybody. So divine being or couple. You want to look at, you and your mate at the same time. What's going on in your relationship, what you can expect, or for yourself. Recent past, near future. Masculine's higher self. So this can still be your higher self. We all have an inner masculine and feminine. Some of us just resonate more heavily with one side or another. It is not gender specific. It is not sexuality specific. Blocks to individual or shared progress. What the feminine can do to help herself. What the masculine can. So again, for some of us will be drawn to, consider both. Masculine and feminine. What the universe would have each or both to do to help themselves, and the universe even wants to help with, but we have to first affirm because we have free will, and the outcome. Divine being or couple. Parental care. All right, this keeps coming up in these moon readings. I am finding that we're having a lot of people either living with their parents or having their parents live with them. And there's movement in those areas. There's been movement where people's parents are being placed in assisted living, or, maybe you're selling the family home. There's something going on with that. I've had clients to meet family members, not necessarily their parents, but like siblings. They're finding out about siblings that they have around the world and things, and people are being reconnected. Sometimes this parental care is part of self-care, like you're the parent and, you're like your children are grown, they're big, and you've been doing everything for them for a long, long time, and it's time to give the parent, you, some care, which would make sense with our overall energy because it is self-care. And also I had... Actually, last week I talked about father. Actually, with the last moon reading, I talked about father healing. And I said I was feeling a lot of strong energy, not only of parents, but specifically father. And people could even be like meeting their fathers for the first time. Well, sure enough, I do have a Facebook friend who began as a client, viewer, subscriber, who indeed found out who her father was, obtained a picture of him, the first time she 40 plus years. So things like that going on for people, maybe healing relationships with parents, or dealing with relationships with parents, walking away from some if we have to, because unfortunately sometimes even our family members are with whom we have the toxic relationships. So even those we have to walk away from. Or we could be getting a second time around to try to work on one. In my own family, like my sister and my mother didn't speak for like 10 years. So that it's possible to come back together, to reunite even after and reconcile even after something like that. Recent past. Emotions. So something, and likely involving this parental care situation, whether parental care represents yourself and taking care of yourself or somebody else, it was an emotionally charged situation that could be overwhelmingly happy. The emotions come in all different kinds of feelings. Sometimes we say emotional and we think right away about like crying and being sad and sorrowful, and that's not always the case. Sometimes they're tears of joy with the emotions. So depending upon how you resonate with the parental care, you may, that may affect how you resonate with the emotions. Near future. New career. Again, maybe retiring sort of as a parent. Again, grown kids all of a sudden, or, not having to take care of your parents anymore because they're in an assisted living facility now or something. They're living on their own. And so that provides an opportunity for you to do something new. Or again, you're the parent and you're doing something, this is talking about you, whether you have children or not, and you're doing something new for you, as opposed to the other people in your family or your circle, friends, whatever, cipher that you have been taking care of prior. Putting that attention toward yourself. And that came up in the other readings too, with the 2 9 of Pentacles cards. So higher self. Realizations and epiphanies. That's an appropriate placement for that, right? We're going deep and we're realizing things. We're seeing things, maybe even getting signs from the divine, synchronicities, all that kind of stuff. And that's affecting how we move also. Blocks to individual or shared progress. Speaking of how we move. Motivation. So lacking motivation has been a block. Well, definitely, again, like I said, the energy of Scorpio could be what motivates you, because it is very much about health and self-care. What the feminine can do to help herself, though, in general. Religion and spirituality. So the feminine will be taking a look at some of her belief systems, ideologies, and maybe making changes. You could be adding something, a new practice, a new spiritual practice, maybe like meditation or yoga. Or you could be taking something away, like I'm going to break down this belief system that's been restraining me. Also, I'm getting that this can be about things that are habitual. So maybe you've lacked motivation to do something to like you've wanted to break a habit, but you lack the motivation to actually focus on doing it and starting it, to quit smoking or quit drinking. So you're going to make that a practice. So it's not really religion or spirituality in a literal sense, but it's about, personal practice. What the masculine can do to help himself, it is be true to you. And this, oh my goodness, this came up in every reading I did this weekend for the masculine. He had a decision to make. He had a choice to make in both the general and the love reading. And in both cases was like very concerned with what other people had to say or thought about what it is he wanted to do. And so I've just been repeating, follow your heart, follow your soul, follow your intuition, any divine guidance, realizations and epiphanies that you get, follow all of that. In order to decide how you move, and just stop listening to maybe even your parents. It could be like your parents wanted you to have a certain job, a certain relationship, certain wife, certain husband, whatever. You have to do what feels good to you. They don't get to walk in your shoes or live that life. Like, we allow other people to choose for us. They don't have to remain in a marriage. They don't have to suffer the divorce when it doesn't work out, all of that. So these choices, it's very important that we make them for ourselves. And if a mistake is made, it's ours to make, and it's made by us, and we don't resent anybody afterward for having us, for sort of forcing us to do what they wanted us to do. Or we don't resent ourselves for allowing someone else to force us to do something we didn't want to do. What the universe recommends, would have each of us or both of us do to help ourselves, and even wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm and allow it to step in, is to welcome the new. So again, letting go of old situations, relationships, and that's all kinds. It's not only romantic, friendships. Again, familiar relationships that aren't working for us anymore either. Business relationships. It could be a literal new career, new job. Again, romantic relationships, new practices, new exercise programs, everything, new career. Welcome the new in general. Universe wants to help us with that. So if we've had trouble in the past, maybe you want to do a new moon ritual, and you want to very intently, like make an intention, right? A focused intention or prayer, however you choose to name it, asking the universe to help you to let go of the thing that's been holding you back, or to let go of a lack of motivation, to fill you with the energy of forward movement, and to support you in welcoming the new and releasing the past. Maybe you want to write something down. Maybe you want to light some candles, burn something, speak it aloud, pray it in silence, however you feel to do. But that, let the universe know that you're willfully giving it permission to intercede on your behalf. And the outcome. Sentimental feelings. So some of the things that we let go of, it brings feelings like mixed joy and sadness, right? Happiness and like excitement, like I'm finally done with that, but also like, oh man, remember when, if you don't think back on, your old job or your old boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, childhood, even the things that were negative that we want to forget and we never want to think about again, there's always going to be something that was also positive that makes us smile and we have sentimental feelings about. And this shows up to say, that's okay. We can still move on. I'm going to leave these cards here, actually, I think, and just lay the next set atop them because maybe they'll have some relation. Let's save love for last. This is a more, general energy. So again, the first card or overall energy here is karma releasing. Move beyond drama. Create your own path. This is exactly what I was feeling and saying about Scorpio, right? That can be a lone wolf going in underneath and just doing something very unique. Make room for good energy. So again, letting go of old stuff, welcome the new. That's what the universe wants to help us with. So same placements, divine being or couple, recent past, near future, masculine higher self. I name it masculines because my viewership is more heavily feminine. Even the males more heavily identify as feminine. But again, this can be higher self for anyone, either, or even for a couple. You want to look at it jointly. Blocks to individual or shared progress. What the feminine can do to help herself. What the masculine can. What the universe would have each or both do to help themselves. And even wants to help them with, but they have to first affirm because we have free will. And the outcome. Atop parental care. Kali Ma, facing fear. So for some of us, again, we're the parent and it's fear of the unknown, which can be a heavy Scorpio energy too, in my opinion. Fear of the what's ahead. Like I've never not had to watch my kids before, or take care of my kids, raise my kids before. They've always been here. I'm not used to being an empty nester. Now what? Or I've never had, my parents not in my ear and I'm living on my own. I've moved out, now what? Or it's been so long since, I've been taking care of my parents. And now I'm free. How's that going to go? Now I'm alone. So long since I've been in this relationship, romantic relationship, and now we're not together anymore, and it's just me. Now what? Or maybe the opposite, right? I've been alone for so long, and now I'm joining with somebody. Not used to that. Now what? So this is facing all those fears. Major spiritual changes are unfolding, and this is your chance to soar. Atop emotions is the Holy Spirit. Expect miracles. Remember that only love is real. That's certainly an emotion. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. Near future. A top new career is soul expansion. So again, new something. It doesn't have to literally be career, but we're moving into a new area, and soul expansion fits nicely there for me. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connection between all things. Masculine entire self, atop realizations and epiphanies. Hilarion, divine healing. Honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. Atop motivation, blocks to individual or shared progress. Awakening presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. So if you've been going through a spiritual expansion, it crosses the soul expansion here too with Babaji. If you've been going through a soul expansion, or you will over the next 2 weeks, that may cause you to retreat, to be withdrawn, especially if you're really deep in that Scorpio energy, or if you are in fact a Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, you likely have that trait to just sort of pull away silently without even saying anything to anybody, and which can be aggravating for others. I get it as a Gemini, but it can be aggravating for others. Like, where'd you go? Are you mad at me? And it has nothing to do with the other people. Like, people don't get that, like, it's not about you. I just needed to pull away, or it's just my nature to pull away. But that's been a block to progress in some cases. So we got to work on that, or allow for this awakening to occur. But in the meantime, it's causing a pause, maybe a delay in some other areas of our life. What the feminine can do to help herself with regard to blocks and stuff. Lord Shiva, transcendence, rise up, honor your inner force. Steps are being given. Dance with the universe. So this Lord Shiva totally describes what I was, trying to convey when I was talking about what I was feeling, because Lord Shiva is also known as Shiva the Destroyer. And what he does is knock stuff down and rebuild it. So again, it's a chance to start anew, a second time around, second try to start in a new way. And maybe connected to that other card too about being a builder, right? I'm going to just knock this down and I'm going to rebuild it, because I'm that's in my nature. I'm good like that. At least over this next 2 weeks. What the masculine can do to help himself atop be true to you is holy amethyst, divine alchemy. Move beyond current challenges and focus on what you desire. So again, to me, that's very much connected to be true to you. If he's focusing on what he desires rather than what other people would have him focus on. And it's more of this purple. Actually, Saint Germain and Lady Portia are connected to the stone amethyst also, actually. What the universe would have each or both do and even wants to help us with, we have to first affirm. Atop welcome the new is Gaia, Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to Earth and stay grounded. So, she's with the rise up, right? She's with the rise up, but she doesn't want us to get lost. So, it's like, okay, you've been down under, you've been in the depths, rise up, and then let's get some footing and make some moves, right? Take some action, which again should be easy with the energy of Mars, one of the rulers of Scorpio. Also with the energy of Mercury, right? It's going to be causing us to move. And the outcome of top sentimental feelings is faith, humanity, and benevolence. Stay calm. Trust the good in yourself and others, and see the light in the world. So this too, for me, is very like that mixed bag. It's like where we're seeing the dark already, so it's reminding us to also see the light. And that's the sentimental. It's a feeling of joy and sadness, happiness and maybe some upsetness, feelings of regret and excitement, to move forward. Let's see what the love oracle adds to these again with the divine being or couple, recent past, near future. Masculine's higher self. No, how am I putting this here? Blocks the individual or shared progress. What the feminine can do to help herself, what the masculine can, what the universe would have each or both do to help and even wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm, and the outcome. And these cards don't have to connect with each other. I just wanted to see if they would, or give them an opportunity to, if they would like to. And again, the overall energy is soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. So we may want to keep that in mind as well as we look at these divine being or couple. True love. This is the romance of a lifetime. So that could definitely be, again, connected to facing fear, particularly with a Scorpio or Scorpio energy. Again, because we're used to being this sort of loner and unique, and now it's like a matter of sharing space and facing, I don't want to be maybe alone. I want to connect with another person. Romance of a lifetime. If it's not, I'm just getting something like if you're wanting to remain single, there could be something else that you can, fall in love with coming your way. Maybe a job you can fall in love with. And that's for people who want to remain single, but I think you're going to meet somebody also still. And they may be a soulmate. I'm just feeling like in the immediate, something else is coming. Or maybe it's a job and that's where you meet this person. Yeah, that could very well be what it was. Okay. Sorry, sometimes I see stuff at the same time while I'm trying to focus and talk. Recent past, atop Holy Spirit and emotions. Calling in your soulmate. All right, your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So even if you in the 3D and conscious mind maybe haven't or convinced yourself that you want to be single, a higher self has been sending out energy to call in a soulmate, which again, that now our overall energy is soulmate. So it's working. Near future, a top soul expansion and new career. Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. This may actually be the two people going off to sort of understand and get to know how to share each other's space, or this can be you doing some introspection, going within in association with the energy of soul expansion, and also here that ascension growth that we saw. Masculine's higher self, atop divine healing and realizations and epiphanies, is passion. It's a very Two of Wands kind of card for me. And the masculine or male here is even an angel. So it's a very divine union or partnership. And actually the Two of Wands in the tarot is the twin flame or divine union card of the tarot. So for some, this is saying there's been realizations and epiphanies specific for the masculine, specific to this sort of divine partnership, romantic partnership. And maybe that's why he's been feeling like he's got a decision to make. But, you know, in the 3D, he's been allowing other people to influence that decision and maybe cause him to not choose what he really wants, but rather what somebody else would have him do. There's earth energy coming in here that he needs to take advantage of. He may have some earth energy himself. Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Also, the Taurus could be showing up again because of Uranus, which is currently located in Taurus. Blocks to individual or shared progress, a top awakening presence and motivation is give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnerships. There's been a lack of effort. And that is, the effort is associated with earth energy. In fact, Capricorn is known as like the workhorse of the zodiac, you know, the most. But earth signs in general are not only grounded, as Gaia said, but, you know, committed and methodical. They make plans, they actually follow through. And the Knight of Pentacles, or Earth, in the tarot is the only one that actually like is guaranteed to follow through and reach his goals. So if you're reading cards and the Knight of Swords, for example, comes up, you know, he has the propensity to just maybe go off half-cocked, and you can't say for certain that something is going to come to a completion. But the idea is, when reading tarot, that with the Knight of Pentacles, you can. Like, you know, he's ultimately going to finish what he set out to do. So that's the what the masculine's been giving, the energy the masculine's being given here also. What the feminine can do to help herself with regard to giving your relationship a chance. And again, this may be a second chance, a second time around for some too. Past life relationship. You've known each other before. Yeah, that's the second time around. If I say, you know, if you do say, and she's also got here transcendence, so rising above, and religion and spirituality. So this could definitely be connected to, again, spiritual relationships, divine, or spiritually connected relationships, soul mate or soul level relationships. And it's sitting here next to that soul expansion. So feminine looks like also definitely going through some major changes and transformation herself, maybe particularly in the area of love and relationship. What the masculine can do to help himself, a top holy amethyst, and what was his other card? Be true to you. Right, how could I forget that? Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So this is about not only being true to you, but being true to the person in whom you're interested, because you're sharing yourself at your depths, right? Your innermost selves to each other, not the superficial crap that Scorpio doesn't want to see anyway. What the universe would have each or both do and even wants to help us with, atop Gaia and welcome the new, is this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Or for some, you're saying, I have. It may be, yeah, in a past life you have. Now you got to meet them again in this life. You know, for others, this could be like a Knight of Cups kind of energy, which for me represents somebody we know. Doesn't mean we dated before, but they're coming back into our life. And, you know, I'm sure we all know Mercury retrograde is good for bringing somebody back, right? You know, exes and old friends we haven't spoken to and stuff like that. So I'm sure that will be happening over these next 2 weeks too. And the outcome atop humanity and benevolence, or faith, that's the title of the card, and sentimental feelings, is heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Further to that, all getting some advice here from each of these decks. As well as one from, again, the Life Purpose Oracle. So what our purpose, what should we be focused on over these next 2 weeks, according to this oracle, for the masculine is animals. You understand animals and communicate with them intuitively. Trust your inner guidance, as the animals are part of your life's work. That can mean a lot of things. It could be talking about your spirit animal and the guidance you're going to receive. Some people may actually work literally with animals. You work at a shelter or a farm, some sort of natural habitat. I'm seeing, I don't know what that is exactly. For some, I feel like this is about art. You know, you are into maybe most specifically painting or drawing animals more so than any other character or form. For the feminine oracle cards, you're able to discern answers and guidance for yourself and others. So this can be you watching readings, not just of mine, but of other people's. This may be you pulling some cards for yourself and looking at things, or other means of sort of divination that can give you like glimpses into what energies are. I'm feeling like it doesn't have to be cards. So you may, be into also, again, astrology or some other type of reading, palm reading, numerology, all those things to get ideas. You may be seeing like signs. Even if you subscribe to a daily card, like one card that comes up, or maybe you're not subscribed, but it just comes across your feed on some sort of social media or something. Even that can be what this is talking about, is what I'm feeling. And it'll give you like, like today, another reader on YouTube. Now I very, very rarely actually watch another person's reading. Not that I'm opposed to it, but I'm either always like recording or doing something with a client or something, or living regular life. So I just don't get to. There is one that I try to catch every now and then, whenever I can, because I just like his very, very peaceful nature. But today, as I was like uploading something, so I was on YouTube, like working with one of my videos, the love reading, actually. This other one, intuitive readings for the soul, and the guy calls himself Soul. His reading came up, the Leo one. I'm a Leo rising, so it was like recommended for me. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and click on it while I'm doing my other work. So I ended up opening up 2 YouTube windows. So one that I could work and one that I could listen to the reading. And he starts talking about his alma mater, and we have the same one. So it was like, oh, like I would guess I was meant to click on this. So those sort of things, even if it's just like I said, like one card or one piece of information that can cause you also to have some of these realizations and epiphanies, and maybe specifically connected to, again, a spiritual partnership of any kind. Could be, doesn't have to be romantic. You can consider that in terms of, again, a familial situation, or even a partnership in terms of work and finance. From the butterfly deck to the masculine, dietary change. So I think I already went on a tangent talking about different diets and things like that. And of course, this doesn't have to be literal either. It can just be about intake. Like, what are you taking in? What are you ingesting? Whether it's food or it's some other type of substance, or it's something intangible that you've been allowing to, permeate you, penetrate you, that maybe you don't want to anymore, or you feel like you shouldn't have, or it's been it was a negative habit or something that you want to get rid of. So dietary change for the masculine. For the feminine, body changes. So also very similar, because this doesn't necessarily denote that it's the physical body. It can be a spiritual body, emotional body, spirit body, as they say in church and stuff. So you could be, we already got a card that talks about the spirit, the feminine, making some changes in those areas if she wants to help herself, right? This is the recommendation to help yourself, religion and spirituality. I feel it's connected here with the body changes. Now, for some of us, this is also, again, about, we want to gain weight, we want to lose weight, we want to, whatever it is, we want to do with ourselves. And maybe now the motivation to actually move forward and do it. From the romance angels to the masculine, deception. Someone's wearing a false self mask in this relationship. So this is what I was talking about too. Like I said, I felt like veils of falsehoods were going to be coming off and truth was going to be revealed. So whomever this is, if it's you, masculine, you're going to have to face like, your true self. And again, maybe share yourself with others and let them see the true you too, at the depths. Don't be presumptuous about other people, that they're superficial. Give them a chance to get to know you. And for other cases, this is you, learning something about someone or a circumstance. Maybe your eyes being open to some of these people that have been intruding and impeding upon your life and sort of trying to dictate how you make your choices and what you do with your life. Maybe that's part of the realization and epiphanies, and you're going to see that veil's going to be lifted, and you're going to move forward from there somehow. That could be your motivation. Feminine for us from the romance angels, it is romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. So particularly if you've been considering a certain someone and wondering, maybe, do they feel the same, or should I act on this? Should I shoot my shot, and that sort of thing. The romance angels confirming that the feelings are indeed legit. And for the masculine, it is Horus, cosmic gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. So this is about the transition, the transformation, and it's a very earth energy for me. Actually, Horus for me is a Virgo. And you have all this earth here, and particularly the masculine had all this earth up here to work with. So I think this is about this is the gateway about which Horus is speaking, and the energy about which Horus is speaking that you should definitely take advantage of. Again, pay attention to syncs, signs, your heart, your soul, divine guidance you receive, maybe guidance in the 3D from somebody that's trusted, wise to you. Intelligent, take in what they say, but you don't have to do what they say. You don't have to follow, just, for consideration, all the information. It's very high priestess to do that. And then you make a decision. And when you make your decision, maybe you don't necessarily tell anybody what your decision is. You just take action. That's also very high priestess, very Mercury, very Gemini. And actually, Mercury also the ruler of Virgo. So maybe that is why that's coming up like that. And lastly, for the feminine, from the Keepers of the Light Oracle, your advice is Kuan Yin. Care and compassion. Choose to be love and do what's right for everyone involved. Offer a helping hand. To yourself first. I hope you guys have enjoyed this moon reading. I'll be back with something else. I'm not sure what, but I'm feeling that I'm supposed to do something else. So I'll see you then. Thanks again for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing. I do appreciate it. And if you want any services from me, reading, energy healing, any of the cool merchandise we have available on Social 6 or Teespring, do please check out the description box. It will be there for you. Namaste.